Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media Update. So, I had did a couple of videos a while back about FIBA free agency, who they should get, but the one topic that we all been talking about is Satou Sabally. Is she gonna go to the FIBA? Can the FIBA get her? What is it gonna take for the FIBA to get her? There's been rumors and things circulating about, hey, the New York Liberty could be in a play for her. But I have a specific video by a YouTuber. She's new to YouTube. Her name is Rosina Lee. And she break down the salary cap, how the FIBA can get Satou Sabally. Now, and I will also show that and show some other clips of why I feel like these three here are the FIBA must needs. So you have Satou right there, and then you have Ariel Powers in the middle, and then you have Janelle Chalin, who plays over there in France. Now, we already know the top free agent is Satou. We already know what she brings to the table, what she could do. I'll show you highlights of her in a little bit. I already showed you a little bit of highlights of Ariel Powers and what she could do. And matter of fact, Ariel is playing overseas as well. Now she's a free agent with the Atlanta Dream, and they did not core her. Don't know if they're gonna core her, but for a veteran presence to come off the bench, you would need somebody like an Ariel Powers. I've been high on her. I love her grittiness. If you have not watched her play, if you have not been up on game about her, then you really don't know about Ariel Powers. Her career started over there with Minnesota. She played under Cheryl Reeves. She won a ring. She won a championship with Cheryl Reeves over there in Minnesota. So she has experience. She's not that much older. She's around the same age as Kelsey Mitchell. They're around the same age. I believe Ariel Powers is like 5'11", but she could shoot the three. She eats. She could go to the basket. She cuts. She plays hard on defense, and she's feisty. She doesn't waver from nobody. She gets into you, and that's what the kind of person you need, especially when we lost that spark plug in Timmy. You know, Timmy was that person that, hey, I got your back, Caitlin. Ariel Powers would be that person. She would definitely be that person to really like, hey, get this team fired up. Let's go. We about to do some things. And then I got Janelle Chalin, she's a free agent. Nobody has signed her. Don't know if anybody courted her. But when I show you this video with Rosalina Lee, she's going to break down the salary cap. She's going to break down everything that you need to know about how much money the FIBA has, and which I have been already saying that. I said the FIBA has the most salary cap. Now, and they are the team that can make the most moves. They are the team. Even though if the New York Liberty was to try to do a sign and trade with the Dallas Wings for Satou, they would have to give up a lot. They would have to give up a couple of players. They would have to give up probably their first round pick, their seventh pick. And then you got to think about it. I think they salary cap, they got to re-sign somebody like Breonna Stewart, who's a free agent. Then you got Lainey Hamilton that I think she got one more year left. Then you got other pieces that you want to put around there. So signing Satou and to eat up all of that cap space, it's going to be kind of hard for the Liberty. And that's why I say that the Indiana Fever is in a pretty good spot to do this. And I'm gonna play this clip, and then I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you why in a few minutes.
Season with free trades and the draft, I'd say that they have their work cut out for them. But let's get back to the team's cap space. So in 2025, each team will have about $1.5 million that they can spend for all of their players. And like I already mentioned, the Indiana Fever have $657,000 to play around with. But they do need to add some people. They need to deepen their bench, find a backup point guard. They need a big, like a power forward. And they do need that one piece that could make them a possible contending team. So let's take a look at their roster. They have 9 players, so we'll need to fill 3 spots. And it's no secret that the GM, the front office, their number one priority is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. Now, Kelsey Mitchell also is eligible to be cored, and they are most likely going to do that at the $250,000 salary max. So let's just automatically take $250,000 away from the $657,000. So that leaves us with $407,000 to play with. So you automatically think, oh, $407,000, we can totally get Satou. It's not that easy. The Dallas Wings know how bad Indiana wants Satou, so they have leverage. So what would it take? Well, Satou would have to agree to a sign and trade to Indiana, and if she did agree to that, they could get her for $214,000, leaving Indiana with an extra $35,000 to play with. But there is no way on God's green earth that Dallas will just straight up trade Satou to Indiana. So Indiana have 2 first-round draft picks, number 8 and number 20. And Indiana being a young team.
Okay, I'm gonna pause that for a minute, and then I'm gonna go back into it again. Now, when she said that Indiana is not gonna be easy, and saying that Indiana has 2 first-round picks, that's false. Indiana don't have 2 first-round picks. They have the number 8 pick and a second-round pick because there's 3 rounds in the draft. And the Indiana Fever has the number 20th pick in the second round, along with a third. Now, what Indiana could do in that sense, package that 20th pick and not give up that first round pick, because you need that first round pick, that number 8th pick. That number 8th pick is going to be a gem because you have anywhere from Sonia Citron, you could get Asia Savik also. And then you could look at other pieces like probably draft a point guard, or whoever you need to get to fill the spot. But that's why I wanted to stop this video real quick, because she said Indiana had 2 first-round picks, which that's false. Indiana don't have 2 first-round picks. I even looked at it myself. I went back and checked. So they don't have 2 first-round picks. They have a first-round pick, number 8, and their second-round pick is the number 20 pick. All right.
Season with free trades and the draft, I'd say that they have their work cut out for them. But let's get back to the team's cap space. So in 2025, each team will have about $1.5 million that they can spend for all of their players. And like I already mentioned, the Indiana Fever have $657,000 to play around with. But they do need to add some people. They need to deepen their bench, find a backup point guard. They need a big, like a power forward. And they do need that one piece that could make them a possible contending team. So let's take a look at their roster. They have 9 players, so we'll need to fill 3 spots. And it's no secret that the GM, the front office, their number one priority is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. Now, Kelsey Mitchell also is eligible to be cored, and they are most likely going to do that at the $250,000 salary max. So let's just automatically take $250,000 away from the $657,000. So that leaves us with $407,000 to play with. So you automatically think, oh, $407,000, we can totally get Satou. It's not that easy. The Dallas Wings know how bad Indiana wants Satou, so they have leverage. So what would it take? Well, Satou would have to agree to a sign and trade to Indiana, and if she did agree to that, they could get her for $214,000, leaving Indiana with an extra $35K to play with. But there is no way on God's green earth that Dallas will just straight up trade Satou to Indiana. So Indiana have 2 first-round draft picks, number 8 and number 20. And Indiana being a young team, I don't think this year they really need those draft picks. So I can see Indiana using them as trade assets. And I can see Dallas wanting that number 8 first-round draft pick. And another person that I also see being used as a trade asset is NaLyssa Smith. It's been pretty contentious with her and the Indiana Fever fans. Dejanay Carrington, her partner, who plays on the Connecticut Sun, has been very vocal and kind of anti-Fever fan. There have been a few other contentious incidences involving Dejanay Carrington that I really just don't want to get into here, but let's just say that it hasn't really made the chemistry between NaLyssa Smith and the Indiana Fever fans smooth. The chemistry that NaLyssa has with her team is a totally different thing. There doesn't seem to be any bad blood between NaLyssa and her teammates at all, but NaLyssa's speed isn't exactly what the new Caitlin Clark style of playing, that fast run and gun, is. She has like a really slow release. She isn't the best at defense, and as a power forward, you want a good defender. So I can see Indiana throwing in a number 1 draft pick for 2025, NaLyssa Smith, and potentially, I actually heard someone else say this, and I thought it was a good idea, but potentially Grace Berger. And the reason Grace Berger is because she's actually been playing pretty well over in Europe, and she's cheap, and she's young, so she can be developed. And she's on a 2-year contract at $170,000. But like I said, Dallas has leverage with how much Indiana wants Satou. So what else could they throw in? Because I don't think adding a 4th player to this trade is advantageous for Dallas, because I think that would be just too many players on their roster. So I could see them asking for a first-round draft pick for another year. So in a perfect world, this trade goes through. So that would give Indiana, let's add in the $92K that they'd gain losing NaLyssa Smith, and let's add the almost $80K that they would gain losing Grace Berger, and they're at $579K. But let's subtract the $214K that Satou Sabally would cost, and we're at around $365, $366K. But with adding Satou Sabally in and losing 2 players, that would mean 3 roster spots need to be filled. And a lot of analysts and content creators are talking about Natasha Howard. Natasha Howard has let it be known that she does not want to be returning to Dallas, and she is really good. She is just not as good as she used to be. Now, saying that, she was all defensive team in 2018 and 2019, so she's got the defense, or had it. She was all WNBA in 2019, and she was the Defensive Player of the Year in 2019 and Most Improved Player in 2018. But again, that was like, 6 years ago? God, my math is so bad. But she is a vet, and that could potentially be advantageous for such a young team. I just don't know. She's a little bit better than NaLyssa Smith maybe, but definitely defensively better. Yeah, I really don't know if Indiana's willing to take that $214K salary. But another option for Indiana is Janelle Salon, who is a free agent but plays over in Europe. She is also a little bit better than NaLyssa Smith right now, but she is 23. She is not a rookie, and so she has development time while already being starter ready. She's listed at 6'4". She is a power forward, but versatile. She can run up the court. She can shoot threes. And she was just spotted on December 27th in Washington, D.C. So I don't know if she's here potentially meeting with teams, because I'm sure a lot of teams would be interested in her. She would be great on the Sky. She would be a great complement to Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese. She would be great for the Dream. She would be great for the Valkyries. Now, I don't know how much she would actually cost, but she would not be as much as Natasha Howard, who would be $214,000. But let's hypothetically say that the Indiana Fever do go with Natasha Howard, and we have to take away 214K from that 365K we have 151K to deepen the bench. And if you are a contending team, which Indiana looks like they want to be, it is not common for the contending teams to be playing their rookies consistently. Now, Leonie Fiebich, she didn't start out playing for New York consistently. She, and this is being one of the best, maybe the second best rookie of last season. But other teams like the Washington Mystics, the lower tiered teams, they will play their rookies consistently. But again, it doesn't seem like Indiana wants to be that tier of a team. They're going to want to deepen their bench with someone on a higher pay scale. So if you want to vet, that's 78,000. And if you subtract the 78 from the 151 that we have to play with, you get 73,000. So maybe you can get a vet, and maybe you can develop that 20th pick that you get, which I don't know. I don't know that I'd bank on that. But this would be something that Indiana can play with. But if they went with Janelle Salon, who would not be 214K, instead of Natasha Howard, then I think this would open up a lot more avenues. I hope your brains aren't broken at this point.
All right, so she broke that. She was able to break down the salary cap. And I'm just going to the last part of the video where she was saying that with Natasha Howard was a little older. She's not as, she's defensively good a little bit, but she scored a little bit. She was very vital for the Dallas Wings, but she's older. And you don't want to kill your cap by bringing an older player in and trying to, build out your roster or your bench, so to say, because Natasha Howard might want to start. You know what I'm saying? So if you think about it, she might want to start. So then you'll have a starting unit of Caitlin, Mitchell, Boston, Satou, and Howard. Now, how fast Howard is, because Caitlin will want to push the pace. She definitely going to want to push the pace. So you got to make sure she's, you have somebody that's fluid. But if you bring Janelle Salon in there, then that's more running, because then you got with Caitlin, Mitchell, Satou, and Janelle starting along with Boston, you have 4 deep 3-point shooting and 4 different ball handlers. It's going to be hard for you to really pick and choose how you deal with Caitlin Clark, because with Janelle outside, she could dribble, she could pull up, she has mid-range, and she can hit the 3. So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, let me show you a video of her real quick. All right, that's Janelle. You see how efficient she is from three-pointer. So therefore, that's more spacing on the floor, more shooting. To me, the Indiana Fever will have better outside shooter than the Minnesota Lynx. And even though the Minnesota Lynx got shooters on the outside, but this shooting combination with these 4, plus the Leo Boston could shoot on the outside too, then how would you be able to deal with them? That unit right there will be a perfect starting unit for the Fever, because they all can get out and run. And they will definitely, you will have somebody on the ring. Caitlin will penetrate, kick it out, boom, 3-point. You really will maximize, and they all can play defense. Now you don't have that much liability. You know what I'm saying? And then say that Caitlin could, she could curl, if you use somebody like Satou to set screens for her, and you have Mitchell run around the end, or you have Caitlin run around the end to get the ball back or make a pass, or whatever the case might be, the ball is much fluider than it was last year and everything like that. Now, I do believe with the cap money that if you do add in Alyssa Smith and Grace Berger, even though we probably want to see Grace Berger stay, but then what you're going to do, you have to figure out what you're going to do with Christy Wallace that's still on the roster. Now you could use Christy Wallace to come in to be the backup point guard to Caitlin, where you don't have to look for a point guard. But if you decide to look for a point guard to back up Caitlin, then if you check out one of my last videos I did last year, I talked about Kia Nurse. Kia Nurse is a free agent. She's not core. She's not been picked up. That's somebody that you could come in to run the point guard behind Caitlin, because you already losing Erica Wheeler. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, if you ain't planning on bringing Erica Wheeler back on a low budget or put her part of the coaching staff somehow, form or fashion, then Kia Nurse would be that perfect person you could get on a 1-year deal, and she won't even cost that much. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I looked at her. I looked at Kia Nurse salary. It's over $100,000. So you could try to get her. I mean, there's some other ones, but I don't trust them. You got Sydney Colston. I definitely don't want no Victoria Vivians on there. Ari McDonald, she's 26. She's a guard. But she's a restricted. So you really got too many unrestricted free agents. So if you want to make a play for Kia Nurse, but if she costs too much, then you can stick with Christy Wallace. Then you could bring in somebody like, for your bench purposes, say, hey, you draft your 8 person. Say you got either Sonia Cintron or you got Asia Soler, Savic. And then that's 2 on your bench. That's 1 on your bench. You picked up Area Powers. That's another 1 on your bench. Then you have Dantas. Then you have Victoria Saxon. Then you'll have Katie Lou Samuelson. But you still will need 1 more person. You know what I'm saying? And then, you got Christy Wallace on there. But if say that you end up cutting one of them, some of them might not make it. You might end up cutting them. So you still will have to fill out your roster on your bench. I say look at a Tina Charles, who's pretty much a free agent. She could come and give you, value minutes behind Leo Boston. You know what I'm saying? You could have Dantes play the role behind her and behind Satou. You could also have Katie Lou could come in, play some minutes behind Satou as well. You could have Dantes play the behind the backup center or an extra person. You could also have Lexi Hall, who went from starter. She probably have to go back to the bench. Or you could have her starter or have Janelle back her up off the bench. Either way, you're going to have to make sure that your bench has scoring. You know what I'm saying? And I think having somebody like Ariel Powers, having somebody like your number 8 draft pick, having somebody like a Tina Charles or pick up a Kia Nurse, you're going to have a lot of scoring, a lot of different ways you can multiply your defense to make sure that Caitlin is getting proper rest this time around, not where she has to play 30 and almost 40 minutes a game. So I will show y'all a clip of Satou, but I'm just gonna play a few seconds of it just to let you know that what Satou will mean for the Indiana Fever at this point.
Wings are number 5. Question is, who's going to play defense tonight? Here is Satou, rattles it home. Patricia Trammell says we can't have that again. Chelsea Gray, no. Tierra McCowan coming off her best back-to-back games in a long time for Dallas. Satou is high. Wings have only had Sabally and Howard score. Satou getting the first 2 of the game. There's Howard on the slip.
That's nice. Getting some crucial steals, getting some crucial stops, especially in that 4th quarter when the Wings needed it.
Here is Satou from about 18, and Satou, she's got a half a dozen. She just is impossible.
All right, I'm just going to show you a little bit. And if you looked at it in some of that clip too, and when Rosaline was talking about Natasha Howard, if you look at Natasha Howard, she barely could get up the court running wise. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that would be a no-go. for me with Natasha Howard. You need youth. You need some young legs. But now there was one person that I was looking at, but I did a research on her last night. Is Elena Deladon. Now you could end up doing a sign and trade with her for a player, a young player, probably like Victoria Saxon, to clear up that bench. You know, sign and trade with her, bring her in. She's a veteran. She could give you. She don't have to play a lot of minutes, but she has such of a injury riddled career. You know, a two-time MVP, or a WNBA champion, was one of the best in the game, but injuries killed her. And you don't want to take a chance on somebody that might not play because of injury. So she would have been, to me, she would have been nice to pick up, to come off the bench, just to give you valuable minutes. She's tall, lanky, but like I said, injuries kind of killed her a little bit, and you don't want to risk her getting her, and then she doesn't play, and you know, then you have to find somebody to replace her. I'd still like to see Victoria Saxon get some time with the team. I think she could be very key for us. She hasn't get a lot of play, so hopefully in preseason we can get to see her if she does make the team. But whatever the Indiana Fever does, I say if you have to go out and get Satou and Janelle, doing the two pieces in that starting unit right there, or one starter, one bench. However you want to do it with Lexi or Janelle, you can't go wrong with either one starting. But me personally, Lexi has the defense. Janelle has defense too, but she can handle the ball a little bit more than Lexi. She shoots a little bit better than Lexi. So you probably will use Lexi off the bench to where she could give you that spark plug off the bench along with others, and then she could still be able to hit her shots from three. So that's my analogy for Satou Sabally, you know, and what I think the Indiana Fever should do. I think the Indiana Fever should do whatever it takes to get Satou. I won't leave it a chance for anybody else. I will just go out and get her, do a signing trade, give up a first-round pick from next year to get Satou, lock her down, you know what I'm saying, where she don't have to worry about being a free agent next year again, lock her down, start her, get a young talent to go beside her, and once you do that, this Indiana Fever starting unit would be good. You just have to take care of the bench from there. Like I said, if you want a dog and some more scoring off the bench, it's Ariel Powers. If you don't, to me, I think she's a no-brainer to get. She won't even cost much. Then you're going to have, like I said, you're going to have a player. And even if you did bring in Natasha Howard, now she, like I said, she costs too much, so I won't even think about that. You got the Indiana Fever got options. They have a lot of options. They definitely need a point guard. They need a center, and they need another forward. But like I said, with the 3D that Stephanie White talks about, Janelle and Satou would be perfect. That's 3D. That's that spread offense, especially with the range that Caitlin shoots from. Then you got Satou can handle the ball, Janelle can handle the ball, Kelsey a little bit. Then you got so much movement. You got so much backdoor cutting space. The way Caitlin passed, Caitlin probably could average probably 12 assists a game having that kind of lineup, because nobody was going to be able to stop it. And then once they get off and then teams try to adjust to them, boom, Caitlin hit you for 25 points a game. So let me know what you think about this. I think it's like I said, this ain't going to be the only time I talk about it, because we're getting down to free agency a little bit more, and teams to be able to negotiate, but they can't sign until February. So I want to know what your thoughts is. Shout out to Rosina Lee for this video piece. I definitely will tag her in my description on her channel. But if you come across her channel, check it out. She's really good. She's up and coming. So I like to support, a lot of people. But she did give me something. But I did talk about this for a while. So if you look into my playlist, my Indiana Fever playlist, and stroll down, you'll see it. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video. Until the next episode, I'm out. Peace.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.